What's up, guys? I thought I'd give you a little Skyrim update. It is planned a Skyrim Let's Play. However, I've been encountering a number of stumbling blocks towards that path. I have some good ideas for a character, or several indeed. I don't know which one I'll choose. But I'm basically on my third try of trying to install the mods I want and get everything working perfectly. One stumbling block I encountered was that Mod Organizer, the latest and apparently best piece of software for organizing mods with Skyrim, did not work properly with respects to my computer, because every time I ran SKSC, Skyrim Script Extender, via Mod Organizer, it was the Intel graphics card that was being read off of, not my NVIDIA 880. Now, obviously, with the Intel 4600, I'm not going to be playing Skyrim anytime soon. However, I noticed when I ran it through the launcher or the SKSC shortcut on my desktop screen that I was, in fact, running off of my NVIDIA, which should be able to handle things pretty decently, I think. It is the best, at least for a laptop, best graphics card out there. So, I consulted and conferred with many people, and one person who's been helping me a lot and continues to help me is Dirty Weasel Media. I'll just call him the Weasel. He's been very helpful, very generous with his time, and I'll acknowledge him in the future as well. But Dirty Weasel Media, he's on my channel list on my channel. If you don't know him, he has a lot of helpful tutorials and what have you. So check him out. And some other people I know, and some friends, and as well as my own investigation. Even High Lord Gopher over Skype. I happened to have the fortune to catch him. We tried to resolve the problem with Mod Organizer, but it was to no avail. Sorry, I'm a bit of a hoarse throat. So, the solution was to use Nexus Mod Manager, which is kind of old jalopy technology, I guess, if you could call it that. Whereas Mod Organizer is hip and new, or perhaps the modern mobile phone, Nexus Mod Manager is more like the pager. You remember pagers from the early 90s and late 80s? Anyone? It's a while, or has been a while. But it is still possible, and the use of Nexus Mod Manager was actually sanctioned by Gopher himself, High Lord Gopher. So, if he sanctions it, the divine, then there must be something to it. I am still using the step guide, which is this basic idea of installing. I apparently mucked some things up and misused some steps. Now this time, what I hope will be the final and last attempt in installing all the mods I want will be very detailed written. That is to say, once I go through all the benchmark processes within STEP, checking to see that the mods I've installed so far are running and FPS is okay and so on and so forth, I will then, bit by bit, one mod at a time, check out the mods that I want to install in addition to that, because there's so many mods that I consider personally essential for Skyrim that are in fact not listed on the STEP guide. That doesn't mean that the STEP guide is bad. It is apparently the best tool out there as far as instructions are concerned. Just that there are a lot of vampires. See, what's on my mind? There are a lot of mods out there that are not mentioned there explicitly. One that kind of slipped off my tongue was Better Vampires, Moonlight Tales, as well as the more concise version that they released, I believe, Werewolf or Moonlight Essentials. I'm a huge fan of the Creatures of the Night. It's entirely possible that the character I decide to roll up and play, whatever the background and unique characteristics to his or her story, will either be a werewolf or a vampire. So that's a little spoiler, but we'll see. And a whole bunch of other mods that I just like. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be using alternate start. That's going to help me craft a interesting character that isn't stuck in the intro that we all know of being carted off to execution. And just tons and tons of other things like Forgotten Magic Redone, Hunterborn, etc., etc. Now, I think in my last installation attempt, I overshot a little bit, so I'm going to try to trim the mods somewhat, but I can't imagine having fewer than 200 mods, and I suspect I'll be ending up with somewhere between 200 and the maximum limit of 255, although I won't hit 255. There's some things I could definitely cut out. I noticed when I was installing STEP today, complete crafting overhaul, I never actually used that, even though I had it installed. Maybe some bits and pieces I had used, and I realized, well, if I'm not going to really use it much, why bother installing it? And it complicates things with the mod conflicts anyway. So I will be attempting to simplify and streamline in this process of installing mods, but there are things I just do not want to forsake or forego and go without, frankly. And some of those mods I mentioned are a few of those things. Things I want to try out that have been mentioned to me are Imperious Races, which is a different take on racial bonuses and powers. Quite interesting. And the Doomstones, which is a different take on the Standing Stones, giving you very different abilities to what you would conventionally be accustomed to. These are, of course, new and different. In the past, I used the Standing Stones from Skyrim Redone. I'm going to move on and try something completely new and see how it works out. Obviously, this stuff needs to be play tested. And once I have all the mods set up, I do want to install an EMB. This is undoubtedly, inevitably going to cause FPS drop. The question is, how much FPS drop? The EMB I have my eyes on the most is the Autumn Grim and Somber EMB, the Hircine one. It's not the most popular one, and certainly not the most realistic, but it has this kind of fantastical cinematic feel to it. Things are kind of rough around the edges and blurry, a little bit blurred, and it's very appealing to me. So if I can get it to work, that means I don't drop below 30 FPS. That would be my limit on a regular basis. Then yeah, I'm probably going to install that and use that, and I'll hopefully have a very pretty game. Grim and Somber EMB, and yeah, of course, make sure that all the mods work in conjunction with it. Now, I know it's very popular for everything to be in 60 FPS these days, but honestly, having watched Gopher and other episodes in 60 FPS, I don't like watching Skyrim FPS. I actually prefer 30 FPS. That's my personal conviction and view, as well as my personal opinion. And I will be carrying that over to my Let's Play. Meaning, I think Grim and Somber goes very well with cinematic feel, and I think 30 FPS actually suits the cinematic feel a lot more importantly. So yeah, that seems to work for me. That's the plan. It will be 1080 and 30 frames. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it. This assumes that I can get everything set up. The episodes will be 30 to 40 minutes, I think, on average, somewhere between probably. That's the plan. And I do have my data cap issue reset, so I can upload reasonably frequently. The idea is to upload maybe 3, probably on average 4, even 5 times a week of, say, 35-minute on average episodes. I think people can keep up with that, those who want to watch. And I have some interesting ideas for a character already, a number of them. Alternate start will help me facilitate those ideas. And once everything's been play tested, and I make sure that my game isn't bugging out and I don't get constant crashes and freezes, which I did in the last attempt to install, then we can launch the Let's Play, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably do a playthrough on my own on the side. But that said, yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Last couple of days, I've been devoting almost exclusively to Skyrim, just installing mods. First, trying to get the mod organizer to work, then moving on to Nexus Mod Manager, etc., etc. And it's a lot of work, and it's become a fine science. I am hopeful that it's all worth it in the end to produce, a very beautiful-looking Skyrim, as well as an interesting one with interesting combat and interesting perk options. I've dabbled a little bit in Percus Maximus, not much, as well as the new racial bonuses and Standing Stones, and all the other new mods that are out there. Maybe an interesting new player home. We'll see. But yeah, so I will have a lot of mods, but it won't be hitting the max, hopefully. I'll try to keep it as streamlined as possible for me, for my own personal taste. And as always, thanks for watching. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys being patient, bearing with me here. I can't promise exactly when it's going to happen, or even if it's going to happen, because who knows, I might not be able to get all my mods to work. But if I follow everything step by step and try really carefully to just check each mod out every time I install it to make sure everything's fine, then hopefully we'll have some luck. And having said that, that is all I have to say on that matter. I do plan on still uploading a few episodes or finishing up the character analysis or discussion of Dragon Age Inquisition. But as always, thanks for watching, and you enjoy your day. And even more importantly, may the gods watch over you. Bye-bye.